Okay, well, welcome back to Lake Erie. I just realized I should have taken some videos. I was bored motoring downriver, and I probably could have taken some videos of the river that might have been interesting, but anyway, too late. We've just exited the downbound channel from the Detroit River to Lake Erie. I'm expecting, as I'm saying this, the wind is building a little bit from behind into my port side as we get out from the shelter of land. I'm expecting a really nice reach from here to Colchester Point, and then I got to turn in, and it could be a bit of a beat sailing upwind, but it's pretty awesome. Now I'm going to try and show you, if I can, the process of unfurling. Okay, so right now the wind is coming from mostly behind into our port, so I'm going to go to the starboard side winch, and with roller furling this is really easy, but it's going to look ugly because I'm doing it one-handed and trying to hold a phone in the other hand and all that sort of stuff. But here we go. So put a couple of wraps. That's the jib sheet. We put a couple of wraps on there. That's the furling line. We take that off its cleat. This is the line that prevents the sail from coming out. So we want it to be off the cleat and ready to run. And then all we're gonna do is get this started, and that sail's gonna come out like a, I don't know, something fast. There it goes. Terrible filming job. Terrible filming job. But here we go. Get the winch handle in. So I'm going to crank that, stop filming. The original audio for this section of film was totally overwhelmed by the wind noise, so I'll just try and recap. We had turned left coming out of the Detroit River, and we're now sailing. I got that Genoa cranked in. Reefed main and a full Genoa made perfect sail balance for this particular leg. About 12 knots of breeze coming over the port side of the boat. Because it's coming over the land, the waves were quite small, so this was really, really nice sailing. And that's our target for our first waypoint, was to round Colchester Point before having to turn another 15 or 20 degrees up to get to Leamington. So really great sailing for this leg, and even though it's a little overcast, it was still pleasant enough to be out there. You'll note that I was wearing jeans and a jacket, so properly dressed for the conditions, and really enjoyed this stretch of sailing. Okay, so we're out here on Lake Erie. Happy to be home. What's interesting is the wind is not terribly different in terms of velocity than Tuesday on Lake Huron. And yet this is brilliant, thrilling, terrific sailing. I'm loving it. And whereas Tuesday was harrowing and exhausting and not a lot of fun. So you might ask, well, what's the difference? Number one, it is about 4 knots less breeze out here. So I'm seeing consistently sort of 12s over the deck. It does puff up to 16, 17. But the biggest difference is I'm probably 2 miles offshore. You can just see the shore right there. And what that means is the waves are very, very small. In the middle of Lake Huron, when it's been blowing 16 miles an hour for 10 or 15 hours, those waves are large, round, usually don't have a lot of backs on them, and so it's really difficult to sail. I'm going to turn the camera around and show you how terrific this sailing is. So again, the wind noise was overwhelming for this section, but basically what I was saying here is that we're making 6.8 knots headed right at our target of Point Colchester with on a close reach. terrific sailing. And then I just tried to point out this what I would call like boat porn, these over the side shots of the hull just cutting through the water, and didn't have much to say that makes that any better, so I'll just let you watch. Past Colchester Point, you can just see it there behind me over my shoulder. It's been lovely sailing, close reaching from the Detroit River to Colchester Point, and then inside Grecian Shoal. I had to pinch a little bit to get through there, but now it was just a little bit of wind shifting off the end of the point, and now close hauled. I'm going to be able to fetch Leamington, I think, 14 miles away. So just I hope a straight shot for 14 miles. I should be there by 5:30. Awesome. Okay, 4:30 in the afternoon on Thursday, August 21st. I'm just about 3 miles outside of Leamington. It has been an almost perfect day of sailing. As soon as I got out onto the lake from the river, I put up. You can see I've still got a reefed main here. Probably don't need it now, but there's no sense in shaking the reef out for the last 2 miles, as far as I'm concerned. But I got a 130%. The whole Genoa is out, and that has been an almost perfect combination. It was a bit of a close reach from the river to Colchester, and then I had to make a 10-15 degree adjustment up close to shore to try and fetch Leamington, and I got a little bit of a wind shift, so it's been great. Close hauled for a few hours now, but flat water and decent boat speed. It's really starting to soften now. I'm down to maybe 3 or 4 knots of boat speed, but getting pretty close. So I'll probably motor the last mile or two if it continues. Anyway, great day, 70 something miles, and I'll be tied up by 5:30.